explain to you a little bit about who I am. And this is a very small piece of who I am. So I'll just give you some broad things, right? Who is Monique Jackson? I am a celebrity publicist. I am a brand strategist. I love doing that. I am a TV show creator. I've created a few shows that you might know. I am a transformational speaker. I love being on the stage speaking to people and intentionally transforming them, right? In the middle, I put business builder because I also absolutely love, without a shadow of a doubt, I can taste it on the tip of my tongue when I close my eyes. I love helping people build their business and make money in their business. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I have had the opportunity and the privilege to work at Universal Pictures, at Island Def Jam Records. I created a production company where I produce TV shows, but I also help develop for networks, right? I've worked with, oh gosh, VH1, TV1, BET, WeTV, FX, Fox, Paramount. It can go on and on and on. But they hire me to help them develop shows, right? Show ideas and things like that. I also have a consulting company. That's where I work with high-level celebrities and entrepreneurs. And in the last few years, maybe 10 years, I've been working with everyday entrepreneurs like you and I, creatives, indie artists and things like that, really helping them cultivate a space where they can do what they love to do and also make the money and live the lifestyle that they want to live in doing that. There's power in that. Somebody put power in the chat. Somebody put power in the chat. So I've spent 20 plus years, doing what I love to do. Celebrity publicist, producer, brand strategist, getting clients on The View and on Essence and Forbes, on TV networks, CNN and all of the other places, right? So this is the Monique board. I'm just going to call it that for really quickly. And these are just visuals just to get you to understand some of the things that I have been able to do in my life. And this is honestly just a smidget. I'm going to say a smidget like that because that's not even that much of how much I've been able to do. Praise God. But I've had the opportunity to do things like create, pitch, co-star, executive produce, and everything else for the TO show, right? But before then, I was working at Def Jam. And so then you see a picture of Ludacris there or what have you, because that was, one of my artists for a while. But I've gotten the opportunity to do a lot of things, work with Brandy. I've spoken on a lot of stages. If you look over here, that's me on stage with Kenya Moore at the time. If you look over here, that's me doing a tour with the UNCF. We used to do 23 cities in 1 year. So I was always on the plane, leaving my family to go speak, but I loved doing such, right? I've gotten a chance to work with clients like the great champion, Layla Ali, the legend, Lisa Leslie. There I am with my old boss, Russell. I've done a lot of brand opportunities, Coca-Cola, Essence, and things like that. This is me with Tashina Arnold and Erica Campbell. We were doing something for the Essence Fest, some branded content and stuff like that a few years back or what have you. I love doing empowerment events. Plenty of empowerment events where we feed your mind, your heart, your soul, or what have you. And if you look over here, that's me sitting down there in the yellow dress. Shanice Wilson, the singer, is right on the, I don't know what side, it's my left side, so I guess it was the right side. But then here's Elise Neal, the actress, Tori Hart. This is Niecy Nash, honey. We invite her as a girlfriend to come or to do something, and she always gonna grab the mic because she always got a word to speak. I've worked with Niecy in the past too, professionally, but she's also a friend. But I can go on and on and on. The point though, is that I've had a very nice career. I've been able to work with a lot of high level people, and I use those same strategies that I use for celebrities. I've used those same strategies for everyday entrepreneurs like myself, like you, creatives and things like that, right? And so then that brings me to this board. And this board is just really quickly showing you that if I can use those same strategies for the celebrities, and I've used them for everyday entrepreneurs and creatives. And then I can turn around and use them for myself. Boom, bam, boom. The question is, do you think I can show you how to use them for you? Right. All right. So there I am in the magazine. Kelly Rowland was on the front of this magazine. There I am as an expert talking on local news. There I am on a talk show speaking to Steve Harvey about some things, right? A podcast, walking a red carpet. There's another red carpet. There's Essence. There's Madame Noir. There's HuffPost. HuffPost said something. I should have scooped that over. I always think that to myself. It says Mo and Keita, the PR, I don't know if they said geniuses, they should have said it anyways, are changing the perspective of how Black women look in media, right? And so then there I am in Black Enterprise. Again, just a smidgen of the things that I have been able to do, right? And so the bottom line is that, wanting press is one thing. So if you want press, that's great. But I want to teach you how to be in the right place to get the right press, right? And have press that converts into clients. Someone put that in the chat. Converts into clients, right? We want press that converts into clients. Light the chat up with that. Converts into clients. Because again, we're not here just to look cute. We're here to get something, right? And that's how you need to show up in your business intentionally with a plan to convert into clients. Otherwise, you just got a hobby or something that sounds cute when somebody asks you what it is that you do. We're not looking for that. That's not going to feed the kids. That's not going to buy our dream home. That's not going to get us on vacation, right? Not a hobby. So let's be real. There are experts and creatives that suffer from a few things, and we're just going to go through them really quickly. They post without and pray, right? So they do a lot of content, but there's no clients coming from that, right? Number two, they have a press ready message, but then guess what? Reporters, opportunities, brand deals, and things like that skip over them. We'll talk about why that is, right? And then they get press, or they get the opportunity to go do a brand deal, and it ends up being a one-off, or they get press and there's no sales, right? So we want to have coverage that converts into cash, because coverage or opportunities and no moolah, no bueno. Okay. So we want to understand that if we keep on doing the same things, we're going to end up with the same results. We'll be busy, but not booked, right? We'll be busy and burnt out, right? We'll have less income. And that's why strategy matters. Somebody put that in the chat. Strategy matters. Strategy matters. Strategy matters. So what's the solution? We're going to talk about it. I have a repeatable, what I call AI-proof system that turns stories, your story, into placements. Okay? I should slow down when I say this. Your stories into placements. And then the placements will turn into authority. And then the authority will help you earn the payments. All right? It's almost like I want to go back and show you guys that. I want to go back and show y'all that. I'm going to show you this right quick. This isn't what I typically do, but I want to go back and show y'all that. So I want to show you this board here, right? Again, this is teaching me something in this moment. I actually should pull out some of the headlines so you all can see that each and every time, depending on, Monique, this ain't part of it, but go ahead and just let God use you, okay? That each and every time the headline read something different, but it was still on brand to who I am, the community that I serve, the offer that I have. And it always turned into a bigger opportunity, the next opportunity, an opportunity for me to get paid, right? And so this is what I mean when I say you share your story, right? And that story should turn into a placement. And that placement should start giving you authority, because when you compound one thing on top of the other, a magazine interview, right? An interview on national talk shows, right? a podcast, another podcast. You're on local news as an expert, right? You're walking red carpets. That means you're in the rooms with the people who are like-minded like you or who might have a paycheck for you, right? Then you are being mentioned in magazines where, hey girl, like where my audience is, right? Essence Magazine. Hold on one second. Give me a kiss, son. This is real live. My son is leaving. Love you. Okay, you have your insulin. Turn it in the morning when you walk in the door. Turn it in. Okay? All right. So, you guys, I have 2 children who are type 1 diabetics. And so every time they leave, I don't care if it's for basketball or whatever, I'm always reminding them because I'm a mommy. Okay? So anyways, back to the point. This is live, y'all. This is live on a real Saturday, right? So anyways, back to the point. I share my story, right? When I'm pitching, I share my story. From that, I get a placement. Then I make sure that I go in more with sharing my story, but also sharing the value of what I have to offer. And in doing that, then it opens up another opportunity because then when people see you and they can identify with your story, somebody put story in the chat. I'm not in church by myself, right? When they see you and they can identify with your story, right? Then they lean in. They lean in. They start paying attention. And then they see value because they can relate and they can see where you've been and where you are now. And somewhere in between that, somebody is dreaming. Oh, Jesus used me. Somebody is dreaming of that opportunity. Somebody is dreaming of the space from what your story is and where you've been. Somebody is dreaming of that to getting here. Is that making sense, guys? And so when they see you and they hear your story and then they start to lean in, then there's value. Put value in the chat. You offer up the value. And then you offer up how you're able to help. Remember that introduction that I asked you guys about? Who you are, where you're from, what you do, right? So then you offer up how you can help. And then something dials in. And then that's how that sponsorship happens. And that's how that ideal client says yes to you. And that's how a partnership is formed. Because people have to see you first. Somebody put see you in the chat. They have to see you first before they can even see the value in you. They have to know you exist. They have to see you. They have to know you exist. Then they have to find value. Then after they have value, when they have value in you, they're leaning in, they're figuring out the value, and that makes it easier for them to say yes. Put yes, yes, yes in the chat because I want this to be you all's years of yes, yeses, and yeses. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay? All right. So, all right. So this is what I call the press to profit system. Go ahead and write that in the chat. Press to profit. And press can be anything. Press can be that speaking gig. You can swap that out and say that. You can say, no, I want to speak on stages, Monique. All right, still. Somebody has to see you. You still have to share your story in a way where it makes sense to them. Oh, Lord, I wish I could teach y'all. Calm down, Monique. I get real passionate sometimes. Every headline read something different. But it still was to my brand. It still was the truth on who I am. It still rang true to what it is that I offer. It still was consistent. Even though it was different, it was consistent. Okay? All right. So one thing that we have to understand is that we have to cut through the clutter. In order to be seen, you got to cut through the clutter. Take a picture of this. I want you guys to post it on Instagram. Tag me in the story. I'll repost it. Okay? All right. So you got to cut through the clutter. Your message has to have clarity. All right. One thing that a lot of people say is, most entrepreneurs and most creatives is I do this. I help people. I blah, 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 blah. That's not cool. I say media or whoever your partner is or what have you, they want to hear it crisp, clean, and urgency. They want to hear specifics about what it is that you do, right? And so your job is to turn your one headliner, right? Turn your mission into a one headliner that's going to tell people who you help, what you do, what's the outcome. Okay? All right. So there is a formula with that. And I want you to think about this really quickly. And then I'm going to hold the room for 60 seconds while y'all put it in the chat. So it's the who plus how plus why it matters formula, right? So think audience to result so they can, what is the big outcome, right? So I put down here for me, I coach entrepreneurs to media ready messaging so they can be seen, booked, and paid. Because that's the first thing. You got to be seen first. Then somebody got to say yes and book you so you can do what? Get paid. That's the whole mission for me. I want you all to be seen by the right audience so that you can get booked so you can get paid. That's the bottom line. So I want to hold the room for 30 seconds and give you all time to put in the chat your who, how, why it matters formula. Who's your audience? What's the result? So they can get what big outcome? Give me that. Give it to me. Okay. 10 more seconds. All righty. All right. So I said put it in the chat. But learning this one skill set correctly will make people lean in when you introduce yourself. They'll say, we want to do it right so that people can at least go, I could use that. Or hold on, I know somebody that needs you. So the whole point of the introduction is making sure that people want to do business with you, right? So let me go back to this one or whatever. I want you guys to put in the chat. I want people to do business with me. I want people to do business with me. Because if you're not here for that, you might as well get off the line right now. If you don't want, I told you I worked at Def Jam. Our whole objective was to sell them CDs and sell that concert out. Our whole objective was to get brand partnerships. One year I had to sell Sprite to give us $500,000. I had to pitch them on to give us $500,000 while I was at Def Jam. I had to figure it out. My job also by default ended up being, okay, well, there were artists. Ja Rule back in the day was doing something with a water company, and so I negotiated or whatever to get him the $50,000 check. So here's the thing. If you're here on this masterclass right now and you're not looking for a promotion because it's not just for people who are entrepreneurs or people who are creatives. There are corporate people. There are expert people that like what they do. But if you're not looking to elevate in that at all, right? Expand your brand, expand your value, then you don't need to be here. You can get on off the line right now. That's the truth, right? Because we want to make sure that we are ready to do business. That's what this whole gotcha is about. Press is just a part of it. Monique, just let them learn what you put on the screen. Monique, don't start preaching. All right. So pillar number 2 is the pathway to press. I tell people all the time, press is not random. It is engineered. Press is not random. Press that's random does not work. When you're just pitching here, pitching there, just pitching everywhere, it don't work. It don't work. That's the same thing with brand deals. Oh, I want to do something. I want to have them sponsor my event that I'm doing or whatever. And you pitch into a pottery company and your brand, your whole brand is about beauty. If you don't talk to a mascara company or a blush company or a hair care company, if you don't stop talking to the company that sell tires for a Ford, the hell you doing? You have to you can't be random out here in these streets. You have to engineer it in a way where it's going to make sense. Right? You have to. So here's the thing. When we are pitching, there's a few things that we have to think about. Are we at the right outlet? Are we using the right outlet, right? So where does my people hang out, right? I was just talking about hair, right? So if I do have a hair company, I'm not going to pitch myself to Harley Davidson magazine, right? I'm not gonna, they're the motorcycle company, right? They want to talk about helmets and leather jackets, and they're not talking about no black girl hair. So why would I even waste my energy pitching? And I'm giving you an extreme so that you can understand what it is, right? You want to go into places where your people already hang out. So yes, I would go to Hype Hair. Yes, I would go to Essence. Yes, I might want to do an article about me in Ebony magazine, right? Why? Because I am a black girl with black girl hair. And so I want to go where the other black women are so they can become familiar with me, my brand, my products, my services. You did? Making sense? All right. So we want to make sure that we are hanging out, that we are actually pitching where our people already hang out. So everybody, a lot of people always want to tell me, I get lots of clients on the Breakfast Club. So people are always, I want to be on the Breakfast Club. I want to be on the Breakfast Club. But that's everything ain't, and I'm going to say it like that, for everybody. Let's just put that way. So know where your people hang out. All right. Know where your people hang out. All right. And then the other thing is the right angle. The right angle. You can have a place where your people hang out and know that, okay, yeah, my people gonna be here. This is where the people who would buy my products and services, this is where they hang out. But if you have the wrong messaging, it's still not gonna what? They're not gonna find value in it, so they're not gonna what? Lean in. So you got to make sure you have the right angle. And then it's also the right timing too. You don't see people talking about, I don't know why Daisy Duke shorts, that's funny, short shorts and stuff like that in the wintertime. They stopped that. August, right around Labor Day, they stopped. Ain't no more maxi dresses. Then we're not advertising that. It's the wrong season, the wrong timing, right? Just like, Christmas season happens, right? We're not talking about trees in March. We're talking about, I don't know, college basketball. We talking about, leprechauns, if anything, right? March, right? March, yeah, the leprechaun, whatever, right? St. Patrick's Day, right? We're not talking about Christmas trees. We just not. So it has to be the right time and the right angles and things like that, right? I often tell people, well, this is something I actually teach in the course, that media does love trends. They love data, and media loves human stories. That's why we can beat out AI. If you guys are being taught right, you can beat out AI. Okay. So the thing about it is that if you can get one or two of these, if you can get something that's trending with data and science to back it up, wonderful. If you can get something that is trending, that's a real human interest story, and then you have statistics and data to back it up, you can get three. Oh boy, it's almost an automatic yes. If you follow the other stuff, know that you're in the right place, have the right timing, have the right angle, and then you have this. Somebody put golden, all in capital letters. Golden. This is it. This is the win. This is the layup, right? So one of your tasks today is that you're going to choose one outlet type that moves your buyers, right? That you know where your buyers are hanging out. And then you're going to map out 3 angles that you can pitch this quarter, right? So this quarter, you're going to do that. Now, we don't have time to do that in the class. We just did one task, right? But we don't have time to do that in the class. But this is your assignment. Go ahead and take a picture of it so you don't forget it. Because I want people to repost it and tag me in it. I want people to be in my DMs asking questions about this, right? I want you guys to do the work. All right. So here's a quick example of everything that I just talked about, right? So if I'm a coach, right, that helps moms start businesses, right? So I would pitch a timely story around postpartum or entrepreneurship or a holiday side hustle or even finding resources for female founders, right? So some fundings, some empowerment sessions, some mommy and me something, right? So I could pitch those type of things, right? If I was a coach that specifically looked at, okay, my audience are moms who are in business or moms who are, in their first 3 years of business or what have you, right? There would be some specific things that I would pitch, right? And so we need to understand also pillar 3 is about converting the coverage, right? Because press without conversion or without a conversion system becomes vanity. That means that you literally, you're not being strategic about the press. You're not thinking about every piece of press being a lead magnet into something. You're thinking, I want to be seen on here. I've always wanted to be in Essence. I've always wanted to be at the Hip Hop Awards. I always wanted to be at the NAACP Award. Okay, that's wonderful to do all of that. But how is it advancing your career, your opportunity, your business? How is it doing? Is it just making you feel good for a minute? No, we're not into that. All right. So we're not into that. So I just already said this though, but every piece of coverage should tie back to the conversion engine, right? So you want to use press as the lead magnet to get your audience more interested in doing business with you. That's the whole point. Doing business with you. All right. So we're going to play this game really quickly. I'm going to show y'all something. Sammy has been a client for many years. Love him to death. Love him through life. Let me say it that way. All right. And so I have a couple of pieces of press here and I'm going to show you what it did, right? So we're going to play a game and each time I tell you, then you put it in the chat, right? So the M stands for media messaging that moves the money, right? That makes the money. Or you want to say move the money, you can say move the money, but that's what it's all about, right? Media messaging that makes money, right? Because that's what we're here for. And it doesn't matter what your business is. If you don't make money, you don't have a business. And so we want to use the media and have the right messaging in order to make money. Okay. All right. Make money, make money. Let me stop. Let me get focused. I told y'all I get silly sometimes. All right. So in truth. Okay. So pitched him to Essence. Sammy decided that he wanted to bring out this candle line. And Sammy's the type of person that, he's in tune with himself or whatever, peace and love and da-da-da-da-da. You see one of the candles called Peace and stuff like that. So we were doing an album release. He wanted to do candles. And what happened was we end up doing an interview with Essence. Now, I pitched him to Essence on purpose because we know certain type of women like Essence. Those type of women, most of them like candles too, right? And so if you look up at the top, it says home only at Essence, right? That's in the pink part up at the top, right under the Essence tag. At any rate, we released the candles. The first one sold out in a few hours. The next one sold out in a couple of days. It took four restocks of the product in order for it to stay on shelves for more than a couple of weeks. All right. Put M1 in the chat. M1. Why? Because media messaging that makes money. Media messaging that makes money. Put M1 in the chat. BET. Of course, BET is going to take Sammy. Sammy, you know, Black Entertainment Television. Okay, Sammy's a Black artist. Of course, they're taking him, right? But if you look here, Sammy has a certain look. Okay, y'all? He had just done modeling. And it was his first time modeling. And the pictures were so nice. They were nice. And I'm not biased. Maybe I am. But they were really nice. And so I said, what we're going to do is we're going to service these photos because we want more opportunities for him to make money doing this. And so he talked about the album, talked about the music, and then he talked about his desire to be in front of the camera a lot more. He wanted to do more modeling, and he wanted to try himself at acting. All right, you guys, go ahead and put M2 in the chat because he got 2 more modeling gigs. 2 more modeling gigs from this. But we're not done yet. Put M3 in the chat because he got flown out and shot his first pilot. And as a matter of fact, the producer of that pilot, the creator of that pilot, called me yesterday and told me that we were talking tomorrow a little bit, like doing a little lunch Zoom date to talk a little bit more about where the pilot is, what's happening with it, right? So put M3 in the chat. M3 in the chat because he did get that you know, he got that acting thing done. Okay. Hype hair. When I was at Def Jam, we would have, you know, a lot of people do hype hair, right? We had, you name it. All of our girls though, Kelly Price, Ashanti did hype hair countless times, right? So Hype Hair magazine, I'm typically putting my female clients in hype hair, but Sammy was on the gram one time and he was talking about berries and oils and stuff that he used in his hair and what he used in his beard. Okay. And so we decided that we were going to go ahead and put him in hype hair. Okay. So I'm going to show you how media messaging makes money. Media messaging makes money. Okay. So what we did was we put him in hype hair. He ended up getting, first it was Curls who endorsed him, right? So he ended up getting an endorsement deal with them. Then it was Mael. Then after Mael, there was Echo. Then after Echo, it was Camilla Rose. So 4 hair endorsement deals from this article. Okay. Let's put M4 in there. Let's put M4 in there because media with the right messaging will make you what? Money. All right. Entertainment Tonight. Entertainment Tonight is the largest. It is the biggest, right? It is the biggest. I'm going to say it again. It is the biggest, right? Media, channel, right? The Entertainment Tonight is the biggest media platform, the biggest media outlet, right? When we are looking at Entertainment Tonight, we know that there are real journalists. It's not the blogs. It's not the Shade Room. It's not, media talk back. It's not, it's not those, right? It's not Jasmine Brand. It's not those. Entertainment Tonight are real journalists that report the truth, right? Because they understand that there are people who are watching this platform that rely on that. So what do I mean? All of the top agencies, CAA, ICM, Paradigm. Anyways, all of the agencies, managers, people that worked at record labels, people that worked at motion pictures like Universal Studios and Sony and Paramount. We all watch this, but so do artists. So does managers. So do actors, right? You get where I'm going with this? We watch it as a source of real information. So it's almost like watching the news for us, right? But Entertainment Tonight comes on every night, right? Monday through Friday. And we know that there are going to be promoters and things like that. You get where I'm going with this, right? So I strategically put him on Entertainment Tonight, right? And so if you look over here, I'm going to show you how media and messaging makes us money. Okay. So if you look over here, you see right here, the title says R&B singer Sammy being left out of the Millennial Tour, right? And it's a live shot. See the word live there? Okay. So you would say, Monique, why would you have, if he was left out the millennial tour, why would you have his manager spend money on a rehearsal hall, spend money on background dancers and background singers? Why would you have him here? I did that because of strategy. Somebody put strategy in the chat. Put strategy in the chat, because this is what I teach in the course. This is what I teach during the cohort. That strategy is what's going to make the difference. Strategy is going to give you an unfair advantage. That's the best way I can say it. The right strategy. And so I saved this piece exclusively for entertainment tonight. No one else was able to come to the rehearsal hall and get this type of piece. I did this on purpose. Why? Because I know, like I told you all, that producers, that promoters, club promoters, that tour managers, that other artists, that other agents, other publicists, other people look at Entertainment Tonight. And so seeing is believing most of the time, right? And so what we did was I strategically called them out to watch Sammy. The microphone was on, right? Sing, dance, and rehearse songs to his new album. Why did I do that? Why did you do that, Monique? Because the headline reads that he was left out of the millennial tour. Now, why is that a big deal? Because Sammy is a millennial. He's been doing this since he was 12 years old. He should have been the first person that they called, right? Technically, he should have been the top 5, right? That they called, but they didn't. So what ended up happening from this, Monique? After y'all doing all of that, what ended up happening? I'm going to tell you what happened. All right. Sammy headlined his first tour. If you guys go back and look at what I posted yesterday on Instagram, I tagged Sammy on it. It was the Billboard article that was announcing that he was bringing out music and headlining his first tour. But what came out of this thing, right, was that he headlined his first tour. All right. That's M5. Put in there. Media messaging that makes money. Put in M5. He headlined his first tour. In that tour, right, he was able to create his own meet and greets at a premium price. Now, he wasn't doing Chris Brown $1,000 and acting like he your baby daddy in the photos and stuff like that. But he was able to do premium price VIPs, right? VIP meet and greets. Put M6 in the chat. Because it was his tour, he was able to create whatever merch he wanted to, and he got the profits from that. Put M7 in the chat. Okay? Because we did it on Entertainment Tonight, and other producers and club promoters and things like that saw the footage and understood that he was on tour, they were able to book him for after parties and appearances. That's 2 different things. I should have y'all put M8 and 9 in the chat, right? But then guess what? The Millennial Tour saw that Sammy was selling out his concerts in the same city as them, right? Before they were. Sammy was also getting booked for the after parties and the clubs. And Sammy, hello, his publicist, had him on all the local newses and the radio and everything else or whatever. So they knew that Sammy was competition. So what do you do with your competition? You lean in. You see the value. You understand what I'm saying? Hello. This is a moment. This is a moment. Remember earlier I was talking about share your story. They see the value. They lean in and they want to do what? They want to do business with you. Hello. Ching, 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 ching. I got excited about that because that was my first time really it hit me like that. All right. It hit me different, guys. But that's what I was saying. So guess what? The Millennial Tour booked him. And ever since then, check the records, check the data. I have no reason to lie. Ever since then, he's been invited and has performed on all of the Millennial Tours. Payola. Pay me. It's payday. Pay me. It's payday. Pay me. It's payday. Okay? But this is the example of what I just told you guys earlier on. You share your story. They see, they relate to it. And somewhere in that gap, they start getting real interested and they start leaning in. And they start trusting you and finding value in you. And then they want to do business with you. That's the example right there. That's the example right there. I'm just sitting with that for a minute because it just hit me different. All right? Profit. That's what we in here for. We in here to make money. Somebody put real results. If this is resonating with y'all, put real results. Put real results in the chat. I'm not done. People say, oh, well, what Sammy was Sammy is okay. I'm gonna use somebody that wasn't as popular. When I got a hold of Cliff, Cliff came to me via another publicist that I was mentoring. Okay, she came to me and she was just like, I don't know what else to do. I've gotten him to this point. Okay, let me stop trying to mimic her. Anyway, I looked at him. I said, okay, he is pretty. His hair is better than mine. His makeup better than mine. His outfit's better than mine. He's pretty. I was like, what do you want to do? She was like, oh, well, he does hair. Da, 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 da. All right. So very long story short, I created shows on VH1 shows. I helped produce shows on, on all of the networks, especially where the reality TV was popping up then, right? And so he wanted to do hair. And so he started doing a lot of the love and hip hop people's hair and so on and so forth, right? Him and Cardi B got really close. He was doing Cardi's hair a lot. He was doing a lot of their hair, though. Jocelyn, he was doing a lot of people's hair. And so Cliff wanted to be a socialite. Cliff came wanting to be a socialite. He wanted a blue check mark by his name. That was one thing that was important to him. People have different goals. Listen. And then somewhere along the line, he also said he wanted to do like, Monique, can you give me a TV show? So, we did all of that, boo. We did all of that. So what I'm going to say is that when I looked at Cliff, I said, where will he shine the most, right? Where does his clientele hang out, right? Because he does the hair with, the reds and the blues and the da-da-da-da-da, all of that stuff. Where are those girlies that's going to want to buy his products? Because why? We here to make money. Okay. So I said, where are those girls? And so we put him in social events, where the BET, social events, right? So he was going to exclusive places, walking the red carpet, being seen and being in the rooms with those people, right? Then we started doing press around him. And I was like, all right, so I realized that even just based on what I knew from working at Def Jam, because when I work with somebody, I take all of the experience that I've had from working at Universal Pictures, working at Def Jam, working, doing independent contracting with other celebrities. I take all of that and I bring it forth, right? I'm like, nah, we're going to borrow all of that to make you better. And that's what I love teaching in the cohort. I show people how to use different experiences to make them better, right? And so what we did was, I said, all right, we're going to use this headline and use headlines like this, because he had made a lot of money, right? We're going to use headlines like this to put you on tour. And so we selected 5 cities and we decided to do a hair tour. And so as you see, I have him doing other press at BET, because that's where his, clients hang out. You see, he got a red, like cherry color wig on. It was really pretty and everything else. There I am in the corner getting the press to say what? Say yes to him, right? They didn't know Cliff, but they, okay. And me being his publicist, we worked that out. Our, save that story for later. But there's a way to get stuff done, right? That's the whole point. And so what we did was we used headlines like 21-year-old millionaire hairstylist behind Cardi B's wigs, right? And we took that traffic and drove it, all the conversations, all the interviews he was doing, drove the traffic to his website. Now I'm going to give y'all something right quick. Pay attention. Y'all ready? All right. So strategic. Okay. Remember, we were talking about strategy. I was strategic about the way I did this, right? We drove the traffic to the website. Why, Monique? If they only have 5 cities, why couldn't you just list the cities and let people pick? Because we wanted to capture those people. We wanted people to understand that even if he wasn't coming to your city, you could still buy hair. You could still buy wigs. You could still buy his Silk in the Mist. You could still buy, hello, we're in business to make sales, right? So we drove that traffic there. When people were able to buy the actual city, the tickets, people were driving from North Carolina to come to Atlanta and so on and so forth. When I tell you every city was sold out, I mean, seat from front seat all the way to the walls, right? Elbows to elbows. People were watching him, and there he go with some different color here again. I told you he loved the color. His audience loved the color, right? And so he sold those seats out. So we're gonna play the M game again, because we got to have those media ready messaging, right? That's going to make us the money, right? So we're going to play the M game again, right? So what ended up happening? Cliff sold out his events. That's M1. The tickets were anywhere from $500 to $1,500, right? So $1,500, right? And it just depends on where you were going with this. Were you going to be VIP? Were you going to sit in the audience and learn? Or were you going to be one of the 10 people that were right around the stage where he was actually giving you hands-on experience and training you to be just as good as him, I'll say, right? So M1. The tickets sold out, $500 to $1,500. They sold out. M2, he did a VIP. Now the VIP, he did take pictures with you and he did chat with you, but it was more so about him kind of giving you like just a mini like marketing, like advice or what have you about your hair business or what have you, right? But people paid for that. Put M2 in the chat. Okay. M3 is he sold products, not just to the people that were there, but people everywhere who came on, who saw the article, who saw the interview, who heard him on the radio station. They went to his website to check and see. That was the reason why you had to go there. Hello, strategy, guys, strategy. That's the reason why you had to go to the website if you wanted to look and see where the tour was going. Because I wanted to use the press opportunities as lead magnets to get people to what? Convert to give him cash. So you go onto the website, you looking, and while you're looking to see if that site or if that date or they were coming to your city, if he was coming to your city, you also picked up some products in that cart before you left. Okay. So he was able to sell hair products, put M3. Because while you're there, now you're picking up bundles. If he's there in front of you, he's selling you like hotcakes, right? Oh, not only do you need the hair, you need the shampoo and da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay? He's in Detroit. He don't be in Detroit, I'm just saying, right? He live in Atlanta. He from the DMV area. So he in Detroit. Oh, we staying Sunday and Monday. Why? Because Cliff can do 3 or 4 hair appointments and charge them a whole $1,000 plus. So we stand because I was managing him. And I was like, we're going to make this money. Put M4 because you got an exclusive hair appointment with Cliff, right? I was getting ready to call him his government name. I get serious about stuff sometime, y'all. Told you Cliff wanted a TV show. So guess what I did? If you go back and look at these photos, right here, there's a guy that's filming. He filming this stuff. Packaged everything up. The press to show people at the network that people are actually interested. The audience is already out there. The articles, the online blogs and things like that we had already placed. I positioned him for power, right? So I showed the press. I showed how we sold out the shows. I showed who was coming on the website, how much product and stuff we were already moving. Then I packaged up his personality because that was enough right there. If y'all go on to YouTube now and type in wig out, B-E-T, wig out, or Cliff Vermeer, wig out, some keywords like that, it'll show. The show's not running right now, but it's out there in YouTube land, right? And you might see your girl. Might see your girl a few times because, that's what I do. I create shows and every now and again I might appear in one. But this is showing you how press works. It's not about being popular. It's about being profitable. Put that in the chat. So, I mean, you can be both. But if you got to choose one, honey, I'm choosing profit for you all the time. I'm choosing profit for you all the time. So I'm going to show you why press works, if that's okay. I'm going to show you why press works. Put press works in the chat if it's okay for me to show you really quickly why press works. Put press works in the chat. As if I ain't gave y'all the results already. I'm going to show you the evidence. Remember how I was telling you how media likes data? So I'm going to show you the evidence as to why press works, okay? Everything that I do is about strategy, guys. Everything that I teach in the cohort is showing you designing. It's designed in a way to show you how to work through this. And I work with you live anyways. I mean, y'all love my energy, right? Hello. So I work with y'all live anyways in the cohort, right? So this is what you get. But I'm going to show you. So Gia Peppers, I worked with Gia Peppers for a few years. We worked on a project with TV One, Urban One. She had a podcast, worked on her with that. Or she has not had, she has podcasts. And so anyways, the bottom line is that when I started working with her, because most of my clients do, they have a wish list. And I go through the wish list with them. And remember when I was talking earlier about what's vanity and what's strategy and things like that. So we'll go through the wish list with them. And I'm like, all right, I do this in class too. So if you decide to join the cohort, we'll go through these sessions where we talk about what's the media that you want, and where is the media that your audience really exists? Because I want you to be successful more than just popular. Okay. So she had a wish list, and some of the things were, she wanted to be on Forbes. She had never been on Forbes. She had never been on the Breakfast Club. She wanted places like Afrotech and things like that. And so I looked at the list, and, it took a while to work through that list. Like I said, we worked for 3 or more years together, right? So anyways, this is our first article in Forbes. Less about Gia, more about the numbers though here, right? I took this article, and I ran some, you can Google it yourself, right? Forbes has over 150 million monthly visitors. 150 million monthly visitors, right? All right. So they have over 42 million social touch points, meaning, in their social media, right? All right. I can keep on going in the statistics because they have over 180 countries and right? So, but let that sink in, that when you do an article in a place like Forbes, you guys, I told you my sons have conditions. So those are their monitors going off. Okay. But when you do, placements, you get your headline, your story, or what have you, in a place like Forbes, you have 150 million opportunities for somebody to say yes to you. Let that sink in. The Breakfast Club. I have clients all the time that's asking me, give me on Breakfast Club. You got such and such on Breakfast Club. Can you give me on Breakfast Club? Okay. All right. So Gia got her on Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club has an average of 4+ million, right? Listeners, right? Why is this? Why is this happening daily for them? 4 million listeners a day. It's because they're in 100 radio stations across 40 cities. So they're a syndicated show. They have 100 radio stations, right? 100 radio stations, 100 radio. So you're doing one interview and there's 4 million people listening to you, 100 radio stations, 40 cities that you're in with one interview. All right. All right. Afrotech. So that's the Blavities. That's the Travel Noirs. That's the Blavity News, Shadow on Axe. Those are all of those like conglomerates under Afrotech, right? So anyways, Blavity has 100, I should have highlighted this, 100 million millennials per month coming through their platform. So if we just look at these 3 pieces of press, that's 150, 100 million, 4. So roughly, no, the numbers count up. 254 million. 254 million people reading or hearing her or what have you from 3 pieces of article. 3 pieces of press. 3 pieces of press. Somebody put 3 equals 254 million. Somebody put that in the chat. 3 equals 254 million. Now, when do you ever have that mathing like that? When is the math ever math like that? Listen, guys, there is power in press. I'm going to keep on going for a second here. So Essence, I'm always getting people in Essence, right? We know that, right? So Essence has 5.2 million. 5.2 million, right? All right. BET, we always got BET going on. 3.8. Again, you guys can Google this. Million, right? So let's just say 4 million, because it fluctuates here and there, But these are things that you guys can Google. This is why media works. Exposure creates impact, and income is what I have right here. Y'all type that in the chat. Exposure creates impact and income. Because people got to see you first. They got to know that you open for business. They got to know you available to speak. They have to know your story well enough to pick you. The exposure creates impact and income. Now here's the big dog. Remember I told y'all Entertainment Tonight was the biggest. Entertainment Tonight generates 1.2 billion monthly impressions. You see why that worked? You see why I was so strategic with having them do the live shot with Sammy? They have over 352 million, right? Video views. Just let that sink in. They have, on an average, 26 million unique visits. That means new people coming each month. You guys, exposure creates impact and income. My gosh. Now, I showed y'all my board before. I've showed y'all what I've been able to do. Here's a couple of more pieces here and there. Bossip called me one of the baddest publicists. Okay, here's the Huffington Post piece. It says, Mo and Keita, these PR executives are changing the perception of Black women in media, right? There I am teaching. Layla has been a client, and that's one of her, she did a book, and that was for her book release. But anyways, I've shown you guys some of my boards before, my work experience, some of the media that I've gotten and everything else. I cannot show you ethically what some of my clients have been able to do, but I can show you what real coverage and getting real clients and real opportunity and how that creates real cash flow for me. This was last May. I had my first six-figure month last year. That was my first time doing it. I'm gonna say that was my first time doing it, and that's why it was a big deal for me. All right. But I'm vested. I'm vested in making sure that I do it repeatedly, and I'm also vested in making sure that, remember when I was talking about the 100 people earlier that I want to bring and change their lives this year? That's part of the journey, because this isn't theory. This is really how my clients and my students are scaling, like from this exact framework that I teach in Getting the Press to Say Yes online course, which is actually a cohort, right? So I will say this though, some of you guys are at a place where, life is a bit uncomfortable. And I said that before. I said before that, that everything has a consequence. I've said that before, right? Remember I was saying earlier, everything that you did yesterday, last year, last month, the evidence shows up today, right? And so some of you all, get off here and say, well, you know what, I can Google it and da-da-da-da-da and all this stuff. And you can Google some of the stuff. I'm not going to even play with you. You can chat some of it up or what have you and kind of figure out how to piecemeal certain things. But the truth of the matter is that most of you all will have an unfair advantage if you get closer to the source. That's like almost sending somebody outside to get sunlight for you or having somebody else drink your water for you. Like, it doesn't work the same. You know what I mean? You have to get close to the source yourself. And so at some point you have to stop asking yourself, can I figure this out? Can I figure this out? And start really asking yourself, how quickly can I make this work? And I say quickly because here's the truth. Remember I was talking earlier and I was like, you only got one life to get this, right? How great will it feel when you finally get to where you say you want to be in life? How great is it to actually get to the good parts fast? Make the money fast. Get on those vacations. Start booking those vacations with your family and friends right now. You really only have this moment in life. Like, that's the truth. But I'm going to digress from all of that. Listen, I want you guys to understand this, that what I'm offering is it's not a do-it-yourself. Like, yes, there are recordings and yes, there is homework, right? But we meet every week. We meet in real life every week like this, right? The cohort, the Getting the Press to Say Yes online class, it's the end of your guessing and stressing. You're not going to do it by yourself, right? It's the end of a posting and praying. It's the end of visibility, fake visibility, right? Because it comes with no income, right? It's the end of wondering, like, how can I get this to work, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Getting the Press to Say Yes. It is an 8-week live, I have to say that, live group training. So it's hands-on. I'm coaching you all, right? We go over mindset and motivation. We go over mission and message. We go over money. We go over marketing. Put the number 5 in the chat. Put number 5, put number 5, put number 5 in the chat, because monetizing the media is module 5. And that's where I get the most pleasure from all of this. I set you up to win, and then we go in. Boom, boom, right? I love it. And then we go over momentum, because it is a such thing as being burnt out. There is certain support that we need as creatives and as business people, right? We need that momentum. And so there are the pitches. I can tell you all about, there's pitches and there's email templates and press templates and things like that, right? There are all of those things. There's a vote that I call, that's an AI proof vote, right? Where we talk about how to really position your unique stories and your angles and all of those things, right? You get 20 pieces of press. So you can start, 20 pieces of press contacts, right? So based on who you are, you get the press contacts so that you can start pitching, right? You get a private cohort. It's us meeting, right? We start accountability pods where you will end up meeting 1 or 2 of your business besties. And the whole point is that it is intense. It is intentional, and it's to move you toward progress. Somebody put progress in the chat, right? So there are bonuses. We do something called traditional versus current, where I talk about and do some in-depth training where we talk about the virtual world and the AI world, and how to really create impact there, right? There is bonus lessons that's called Leveling the Playing Field. And I love this one. I love this one because we've had people from Forbes come in. We've had people from Essence. We've had people from Tamron Hall, J HUD, or what have you, come in and speak to you guys. Bloggers, radio hosts, people like that come in and speak to you guys and tell you exactly what we're looking for. And it gives you an unfair advantage because my VIPs are able to pitch directly at that time. Other people, even if you're not a VIP, you make contact with these people. So then when you go back and you're ready to pitch, they remember you. Oh, you taught in Monique's class, or I was in the session when you were talking to Monique and you talked to the class about X, Y, and Z. That's a great opener when people have a familiarity. You trust somebody that knows your friend, right? Again, the third bonus is the contacts. Based on who you are and what it is that you're offering, I curate a list of 20 press contacts for you. Now, there is that session, and then there's a VIP where you work kind of directly with me one-on-one, right? So you get everything you need to start pitching. You get the personal angles. I help create angles for you to go out and pitch yourself with. You get 2 pieces of press that I actually guarantee I pitch you and get the media interview set up for you. So it's almost like I'm your publicist a little bit, right? And then you get 2 one-on-one strategy calls with me. Right. And that usually is something separate that people pay for. And those strategy calls are to set you up for the win, guys. And so, inside Getting the Press to Say Yes, I walk you exactly through how to position yourself so the media says yes. And media, like I said earlier, guys, can be anything. It can be a brand deal. It could be an opportunity for you to do a partnership. It could be anything, right? But we're going to turn those opportunities into clients and into cash. We're going to build the authority that compounds and not disappears. And I could speak a lot more about that, but we do speak a lot about that in class. because there's no point in building authority. Like, you can go back and Google me. You put in Monique Jackson, publicist, TV show creator, and all of that stuff. It's going to come up, right? Because there are articles, real articles, not the fake articles that people try to sell you, right? Sell you, oh, get mentioned in this, get mentioned in that, and the shit disappears. Real articles that stay. And so you can always point whoever is wanting to do business with you. You can point the attention there and say, listen, I was in Essence. Listen, I spoke over here. Listen, Forbes magazine did an article about me on, because that further validates you and makes it easier for that transaction to go through. I teach that in class. Okay. But more importantly, what I teach you is how to do it repeatedly for yourself, for whatever business venture that you're doing, whatever other project that comes up next. That's what's key, right? And so I could go over all of this and tell you, like, okay, in training, you get, I could go over the specifics. The bottom line is that I have clients that pay me $10,000 and more to work with me each month. Okay. How do you think I hit the six figures in the month of May? That was my first time. I keep on saying it was my first time because it was my first time. Hint, hint, hint. Okay. But I was able to hit that because I do have private clients that pay me $10,000 or more to work with me each month, right? And so the enrollment to be in the online course, the cohort, right? The enrollment, we have an admission, a general admission, right? That is $29.97. The VIP usually is for $5,497, right? And yes, there are payment plans, but hold on, because I want to make sure that this is clear. I have done, over the holidays, I was doing a sale. And so then I decided, okay, the new year, people are at reset. And I really want people to get into the course, right? I really want people to have time. Over the holidays, I wasn't even offering VIP because I wasn't. And this is the truth. VIP takes it up such another notch for me that it is only for the person who is ready 100% to win. And not to say that other people aren't, but it really is. It's so intense that it's only for the person who is 100% ready to win. And so